There's no time to turn around a 12-20 season like the summer for the Indiana Hoosiers. Several IU players participate in the Indy Pro-Am, an informal basketball setting where players play along fellow college competition and learn from some of the biggest names in the league. What fans don't see is what happens after they leave Assembly Hall and IU begins to prepare for their next game. A big goose egg in the point column, 3 turnovers, and barely anything on the boards was not enough to keep Verdell Jones down, who was seen shooting in Assembly Hall the first chance he could after losing to Minnesota. The defense, however, was there as IU grabbed 27 boards and blocked 5 shots, something that wouldn't seem apparent from the outcome of the game. Tom Crean continues to harp on consistent defense down the stretch as IU continues to learn what it needs to do in order to contain players who have the ability to change the outcome of a game. La rivalidad entre los Estados Unidos y Paraguay está creciendo de manera exponencial, ya que los dos equipos se enfrentaron por la primera vez en 4 años en un amistoso internacional. Paul Menard's family has a lot of history with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His father, John, began the Menard racing team years ago with IndyCar and recently ventured into NASCAR. Always just shy of a win, however, at IMS in all forms of racing. What better place for the youngest Menard to pick up his first Brickyard 400 win and Sprint Cup victory. With no postseason to play for, Indiana came into East Lansing at the worst possible time, facing the winningest senior class in team history on Senior Day, as they wanted to showcase their complete team one last time for the fans. Joined alongside IndyCar driver Dan Weldon, I'm Courtney Cronin at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dan, the month of May, it's an exciting and special time here. What exactly does it mean for you finally being back, the aura of being at this magical place?
Well, I think for me it's very special this year. Obviously, it's a centennial era of the Indianapolis 500.
DeMarlo, let's go back to last season, talk about all the changes that have taken place from then until now. I mean, you have a brand new head coach. The whole program's basically been wiped clean. What's this clean slate feeling like going into the 2011 season?
You know, we made big changes from last year.
Good Tuesday evening to you. Welcome to Fox 59 Sports. I'm Courtney Cronin. A busy day around Indianapolis involving basketball on both the professional and amateur level, as well as some racing news gearing up for the Brickyard in just a bit. After a week of facing College Cup level teams, the Indiana men's soccer team continued their 3-game losing streak with a loss to 5th-ranked Creighton. Both teams fired multiple shots on goal, but it was Creighton's Dion Akoff who scored in the 45th minute to give the Jays a 1-0 victory. That's right, AJ. Kevin Wilson put it best earlier, saying the game of football is won from the line of scrimmage, and it seemed that Ball State's defense really did win that battle, a lot more physical getting off the ball early. In at quarterback for IU early is Dusty Keel, a big drop back, ill-received. Keel brought down in the DMV's finest. Tavon Wilson picks up the Keel fumble for a 66-yard return. No wonder that Illini defense looks so good, ranking number 1 in sacks in the Big Ten. Ohio State, a 17-point favorite in this one. It was going to take a miracle for IU. Aaron Craft at the perimeter hands it off to Deshaun Thomas. That was a beauty from 3. The Buckeyes up by 14. And this would be a theme all game heading into the second half. OSU up by 21. David Lighty will work through the lane and draw the foul. There's the and one. He doesn't look too surprised about that one. 10 minutes left to do something in the fourth. Vandenberg rips it to Keenan Davis. A few more drives later, and Iowa is within 3? Are you kidding me? Vandenberg again. Bomb from the 30 to Kevon Martin Manley. Touchdown Iowa. The Hawkeyes will win it, completing their biggest comeback in school history. And just like that, the game slipped out of Indiana's control. An unreviewable interception by Purdue in the fourth quarter cost the Hoosiers their final chance to put points on the board, losing the Old Oaken bucket at home and sending their seniors out with a 1-11 record after falling 33-25 to the Boilermakers.
We caught it and we were on the ground, and then it got taken away and we were down, but they said the way it was called, it wasn't reviewable. And there's some dynamics, and they were all as a group, and they were, pretty, set on it, and I didn't question that. And so it was what it was.
I thought it would be a reviewable play, just like everyone else in the stands thought. The same play happened against Michigan 2 years ago. I don't understand why it wasn't reviewable.
It's tough anytime you throw an interception, so everybody was pretty disappointed, but, it's a tough way to go out.
As the losses began to pile up this season, accountability took over as no one accepted the blame for what happened in games more than Coach Wilson. Though it's the players that are actually committing the mistakes on the field, Wilson feels it is ultimately his responsibility for sending his seniors out with a disappointing record.
The critical deal of improvement is what I need to do and our coaches. Our players have got to work hard. We've got to do a great job recruiting to complement a lot of guys coming back, but the real deal is we as coaches. We have got to connect better, anticipate better, and I think be a better prepared team.
I feel like we've done a good job of taking responsibility and for our actions and things like that. But I feel like the coaches have done a great job. I mean, they come out every day and work hard, and so do the players.
It's definitely not the coach's fault. As players, I think we should take more responsibility. They're always saying it's me, but we're the ones playing out there. They can only put us in positions to succeed, and they have. And we haven't cashed it in a lot this season.
A season filled with adversity under a new head coach had players quitting the team weekly, and the rest of the group constantly struggling in various aspects of each game. It was the seniors, however, that kept this unit together, and they believe they can actually take something away from a 1-11 season.
I feel like we laid the foundation. Obviously, it's not as good, but we know, or the players now we have now, they know like how things will go, and how Coach Wilson wants everything. So I feel like there's only room to go up now.
Yeah, I know we haven't had the outcomes, with the scores, everything, all these games, but we've done some good things in each game. And you just focus on those, and now that we know, what the offense and defense is like, moving on to next year, we'll be a step ahead, and we know how the coaching and everything will be.
With the win, Purdue not only takes the bucket back to West Lafayette, but is bowl eligible for the first time since 2007. For Indiana, it's all about focusing on next year, which begins in the weight room on Monday. For one final time from Memorial Stadium, I'm Courtney Cronin for Inside Indiana. Ask any Indiana fan about some of the traditions surrounding IU basketball, and you'll probably get a long list. One of the most notable traditions of the program is something that doesn't even have to do with the game itself, but a precursor to the action about to take place. In 1971, Farm Bureau Insurance and a lady named Martha would make history with their iconic ad that played on WTTV Channel 4 before every Hoosier game.
It was the symbol of the whole thing. It was just this old lady that seemed very lonely, and then all of a sudden the place came to life, and it was like it is now, crazy.
I think it actually kind of gives fans goosebumps and makes them feel a certain connection to the program.
When Coach Bob Knight was fired from Indiana, Farm Bureau pulled their ad, and Martha was lost in the hallways of Assembly Hall for about 10 years. Knowing just how important tradition is to Indiana fans, Coach Tom Crean brought Martha out from the basement of Assembly Hall during Hoosier Hysteria in 2009, giving her back to the fans that love her so much. While Martha herself was unable to perform, Crean found a keen replacement for her in Bloomington icon Sheila Stevens.
The night I stepped onto the court at Assembly Hall and portrayed Martha the Mop Lady, I've got goosebumps right now. It was one of the most incredible moments of my career as a performer, because there is nothing like the Hoosier fan base. And all of those people there, most of them, even the new kids, I think knew who Martha the Mop Lady was.
I think Sheila was as touched when the basketball program said, would you play this maid Mop Lady character for an Indiana basketball event? And she still talks about it to this day, of just the cold chills of excitement that she got to be carrying on this great tradition.
Through the years, Crean has helped the old Hoosier faithful connect with the newer fans, both groups who pride themselves on the amount of tradition their beloved basketball program has. It's this concept of bridging the gap between all generations of IU fans that makes the Indiana head coach so appreciated by the Hoosier Nation.
It reaches back to a time that was really great with what was happening for Indiana basketball, and who's to say that it can't be enjoyed again? And certainly the reception that Martha the Mop Lady, the video, receives at every Indiana men's game when it's played before the team runs back out on the court for the last time, is just very, very gratifying.
For years, Martha the Mop Lady swept the hallways of Assembly Hall and brought together a fan base in more ways than any mascot could ever imagine. Hoosier Nation continues to pay tribute to one of the staple symbols of IU basketball, as every IU fan has a little bit of Martha's spirit inside of them. For the Tom Crean Show, I'm Courtney Cronin.